Alright, this is John Cola with GrowingYourGreens.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and for those of you that have paid attention to my YouTube channel and been subscribers for a while, you guys know that I actually installed the AquaJet system that we could see. I've kind of partially dug up part of this setup for the last summer growing season. Had some amazing growing results. It's done very well, and you know, I recommended it to many people actually, because if you get the kinks worked out, it works great, you know. That being said, there are some bugs, and be sure to check my past videos that talk about this. I'll put the links down below if you want to see the AquaJet saga. And this is the latest update, so now it's past the summer season. Pulled out my pepper plants out of this bed a while back. For those of you guys that remember, this is the bed that was the experimental bed. I tried to do a single AquaJet system right down the middle of the bed to see if it would spray out like 2 feet, or more specifically in this specific bed, 22 inches each way. And based on the testing, it actually was not able to perform. It didn't spray out 22 inches. Probably sprayed out a good maybe 12 or so inches, maybe 12 to 14 inches, I'm guessing. Because my plants on the very ends, some of them made it, but some of them did not. So this was not a good thing. I was not happy. So what happened was, I kind of knew this was an experiment, and I'd actually plumbed in some piping to basically come up here and here to basically make a racetrack design, which was, I'm glad I did that. I always like to plan ahead, because digging all this up would have been a pain in the arse. And so then we got this put in, and you know, it actually worked fairly well. The only challenge I had is because of the depth of the pipe, it would actually make these holes that I'd have to continually fill, which was another pain in the arse. So now that the growing season's done, my plants are out, I've dug this up so I could actually pull out this center pipe, because I couldn't do that during the growing season because I disturbed too many roots. And we're basically going to cap this center one off and just leave the 2 outside ones to form the racetrack. But I want to show you guys and basically let you guys know, as I have recommended the AquaJet to many of you guys, you know, up till this point, and it does work. I did get better than ever growing results ever, and I do want to admit that I am an early adopter. You know, there's a reason why I can't recommend it anymore, and actually we'll go over the other bed to share with you guys that in a second. But the first thing is I want to show you guys this. So the depth, I mean, this is probably one of the most critical things, one component of one of the most critical things when installing the AquaJet is to get the depth correct, right? On a drip irrigation, you lay it above your soil, the water flows down, and on the AquaJet, the high pressure goes out and the water capillates up. Now, we have a thing on Earth called gravity, and while water does capillate up, you know, if you spill water and you use a towel to soak it up, the water literally capillates up into that paper towel, like up, like, you know, oil wicks up through wicks to get burned and all this. That's kind of like a capillation. And, you know, the water comes out, and some of the water falls because gravity, but then some of it will capillate up, and this depends on your soil. Now, specifically, I'm talking about a raised bed with a, you know, looser soil, not a compacted turf application. In turf applications, it's different. You know, they bury the AquaJet at 6 inches. So in my bed here, when this was originally installed, this main unit was installed, and I put a board across the top so I could see where the top is. It's basically dug into a depth of 5 inches deep. Now, this I feel was a little bit too deep. Then they came in and they installed this one, and this one was the racetrack design, and this now is actually at, let's see here, just about 3 inches, maybe 2 and 15/16, but just about 3 inches. And this, in my opinion, is too high. Because now I get to see the piping. Even if I fill my raised beds to the top, you see some piping, which I don't like to see that. And also it makes these holes that I got to continually fill that haven't gone away. So I think the optimal height would be right in the middle, you know, like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Porridge was too hot, too cold, and just right. So I think like about, if you dig a trench like 4 inches deep, and then you lay the AquaJet in the bottom of the 4-inch trench, because this was 5, this was 3, it'd be about right here. I think that'd be just right. And you know, if you do that, I think the AquaJet's going to work amazing, except for the next thing that I'm going to show you, and the big reason why I can't actually recommend it to any of you guys out there right now at this point in time for, raised bed garden installations. All right, so as you guys can see, this is one of my long beds. This is the bed that we originally put a racetrack design in. And as you guys can see, I've kind of just dug out the soil above it so you can kind of see it like sunk into the dirt there. And, this probably comes down to the reason why I can't recommend the AquaJet at this time, although this is subject to change if they get it corrected. I mean, I want to admit that I was an early adopter. It's like if you buy a computer and it's got Windows XP, maybe I'm dating myself there, has a lot of bugs, it crashes a lot. They came out with, Windows Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8. Are they up to Windows 9 yet? Does it still crash? But, I was an early adopter, and so problems will come up. And I think the beauty of a company is if problems do come up, they fix it. I mean, I got this little, health meter watch thing, right? And it had big issues with it. Software wasn't working and all this stuff. And the company's apologized, give everybody extra free year on their subscription. And they're fixing the issues and taking care of it. I mean, this is super critical because, nowadays it's about, it's all about customer service. And this wouldn't have came up if this didn't happen to me because I am going to be planting out some of my winter crops here. And, I'm not going to plant my crops in a bed where it's not going to perform and they're not going to get proper water, right? Because then that would basically be sentencing them to not living, which would not be good. And then I wouldn't be eating, and then I wouldn't be living. So I want to eat. And so I thought, oh man, I had that big problem with the AquaJet in my long bed, and I made a video sharing why this happened. The system was installed too deeply and it sunk down. And in this bed, pretty much the same thing happened. Number one, the system was installed improperly, and number two, it sunk down over time. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and measure how much it sunk down. Now, I don't exactly remember how deep this was originally put in at. I probably should have measured each one. But basically, we're going to go ahead and dig this out a little bit to see the depth where we're at. All right, I think my hand is underneath there. And so we take our ruler here, go down. This was probably, at this point, it's sit in at about 5.5 inches deep. So this is 1.5 inches too deep, in my opinion. Especially for the lettuces and some of their tender winter crops that maybe the root doesn't penetrate down as deep as, say, tomatoes or peppers is what I grew, in here over the summer. And I did have to, water in the peppers to get them established, but once the roots went down, they found the water and everything did beautifully. Now, the other thing you might be thinking, John, what's the, how deep was it buried down at the other end? So actually, let's go down there and share with you guys how deep it was actually installed at the installation depth. Because a pipe was installed at a certain level, it can actually flex up or flex down. And at different points in the bed, it may have a wave, so maybe deeper or more shallow at different points of the bed. So let's go down and see the original adjustment where it was cut and installed at. All right, so now we're at the side of the bed where basically the pipes come up and then the AquaJet ties into it. Now we're going to check the depth on this one, and we're going to go ahead and take this guy, put it right over the top so we kind of know the top of the bed. I mean, this is probably the most critical measurement when installing the AquaJet, is have it at the right depth. And so it looks like the pipe in this one is approximately 6.5 inches deep. So this is, 2.5 inches deep. In my opinion, it should be a 4-inch trench. This is a 6.5-inch trench, quite deep. Once again, over to this side. Once again, actually, it's right at 6.5 inches. So this is definitely too deep. I'm gonna have to go in there, clip it, raise it up, and do all this kind of stuff. But then the problem still arises that even if I get it at the right depth, right? Because my soil basically compacts and is some compost, it breaks down over time and it will sink, actually. And due to this, this will continually drop down and become lower and lower over time. Like, this end is always going to stay stable, but the other end is going to end up flopping down over time. So what needs to happen, in my opinion, so that I can recommend this again and be a happy Aquajet customer, because I want success for me and not having to dig up my bed every time to, tweak it and raise it up and all this kind of stuff. I want the Aquajet company to come off with a standoff, basically a piece to hold the Aquajet and to mount it on like a piece of rebar tubing so that it remains stable. So, the easiest thing to do for a situation like this is basically you're going to get a piece of rebar. This is just a stake here. And you could just have that set down. And then what you're going to do is you're going to just take the Aquajet here. And, basically a standoff could just have like a little U that basically goes on top of the rebar that basically just holds it in place and holds it steady. Or you could have a side mount that actually clips on and then basically caps over the top to hold it like this. I mean, these are just two easy ways that this solution can be fixed. I mean, the watering in the Aquajet is amazing. It aerates the soil, which is amazing. But it sinks down over time and gives me headaches, right? Like during planting and having to dig things up. And I don't know about you guys, but one of the things as I get more wise in my older years is that I just don't want headaches in life, man. I want everything easy, and I want to dig things up every season. I want to think about it. I just want it to work properly. And yes, I'll give you that my drip irrigation system, it does give me some headaches also. And I do believe that if the Aquajet company came out with this standoff piece, this system would be damn near perfect and be able to save you water, allow you to have better plant growth, and just work amazingly overall. And so I do hope that I have a future episode with the owner of the Aquajet company helping me out installing the standoffs in my beds so that this is no longer an issue and all my plants can continue to thrive. But more importantly, all you guys out there watching, plants can continue to thrive as well with the Aquajet system. So that's why I can't recommend it at this time, although it does work properly. There can be long-term issues with it sinking down, not being at the right level, and then your plants not getting watered and losing your plants' lives. And that's no fun. I've lost at least, maybe like 4 dozen plants when I originally installed it, when they was at the wrong height, and even after trying to replant when it was at the wrong height after raising it up because it continued to sink down, lost a few more plants and things did not grow optimally. So yeah, I hope this situation gets resolved by the manufacturer real soon. Hope I'm able to have an update video, and when I am, I'll put a link down below this video so you guys can see the update and know that I will once again be able to recommend the Aquajet system to all you guys out there. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I got to get back to fixing this stuff and planting out my lettuce. Once again, my name is John Kohler with GrowingYourGreens.com. We'll see you next time, and until then, remember, keep on growing.